Hello everyone and welcome back to Talking Classrooms, podcasting as a tool for educational communication and reflection. I'm your host, Bulelani Marwanqana, and today we are diving into a topic that I believe sits at the very heart of our education system, which I call it the academic flaw. Now, when I say academic flaw, I'm not pointing fingers at individual students, no, or not even on teachers, for instance. I'm talking about the cracks in the system itself, the cracks that allow students to slip through grade after grade without truly grasping the foundational concepts they need, and sometimes those cracks turn into gaping holes that students struggle to climb out of. Today, I want to share a personal story that really brought this to life for me. So a while back, I was tutoring this grade 8 student in basic algebra. Now, algebra at that level usually means solving for x in simple equations, nothing too advanced, at least that's what most people would think. But here's a reality that hit me. As I sat with the student, I realized she wasn't struggling with x. She was struggling with the very foundation, the mathematical signs, the pluses, the minuses, the equal signs, the things that sometimes that we take for granted as basic knowledge. I explained it one way, then another again. I must have tried half a dozen approaches using examples with money, with shapes, even real life scenarios. I kept adjusting, simplifying, and bringing it down further, and still it wasn't landing. Eventually, the frustration and shame became too much for her, and she broke down and cried. That moment was so powerful for me because it wasn't just about algebra anymore. It was about something deeper. So I stopped the math session right there and turned it into a counseling session. We talked about her feelings, her fears, and her frustration with school. And what I picked up was heartbreaking but not surprising. The problem didn't start in grade 8. It started way back in primary school. See, what often happens is that students are promoted from one grade to the next without being truly ready. They haven't mastered the basics, but the system moves them forward anyway. And by the time they reach high school, the gap is so wide that catching up feels almost impossible. I want us to sit down today. I want us to sit with that for a moment. Imagine trying to build a house on shaky ground. No matter how beautiful the walls or roof, if the foundation is weak, the structure will eventually collapse. It's a given. It will collapse. That's what is happening with many of our students. This grade 8 student wasn't failing because she wasn't smart. No, she was failing because the foundation had never been laid properly. She carried not just academic gaps, but also emotional scars, feelings of shame, of I'm not good enough anymore, or of maybe I'm not cut out for this mess thing. So, but here's the thing. Once I shifted the focus from just academics to supporting her emotionally, she began to open up. She began to believe, even just a little, that maybe she could do it. That experience taught me something one day. That experience taught me something that is so profound. Sometimes teaching is not about the content, it's about the connection. Students aren't just blank slates. No, they are not just blank slates that are waiting to be filled with information. They are human beings with fears, doubts, and emotions. And if the system keeps pushing them forward without readiness, without real understanding, we set them up for failure. And worse, we make them feel like they are the failure themselves. So this is the academic flaw that I'm talking about today. A system that prioritizes progression over preparation. A system that measures success by moving students through grades rather than ensuring they are equipped for the journey ahead. So now the big question is this one. What can we do differently? For me, it starts with honest conversations between teachers, parents, policymakers, and yes, even students themselves. We need assessments that reflect true understanding, not just memorization. We need support systems, counseling, and intervention that catch students early before the gaps become canyons. Now, and most importantly, we need to value readiness over speed. It's better to repeat a concept 10 times or even a grade than to send a child into the next stage of learning unprepared. Let me pause and ask you, my listeners, have you ever felt like you were pushed forward without really being ready? Maybe in school, maybe even in your career. Think back. How did that make you feel? Did it inspire confidence, or did it make you feel like you were pretending to keep up while silently drowning? For educators listening, I want to challenge you. Look beyond grades. See the human being in front of you. Sometimes the tears during a maths lesson aren't about the maths at all. They are about years of accumulated struggle and shame. As we wrap up today's episode of Talking Classrooms, I want to leave you with this thought. Education is not just about passing exams. No, man. It's not about that. It's about preparing young people for life. And until we address the academic flaw, we'll keep seeing students fall through the cracks. But there is hope. There is hope. Every moment of patience, every extra explanation, every time we stop to counsel instead of just teaching, we are filling those cracks. We are building stronger foundations. So whether you are a teacher, a parent, a student, or just someone who cares about the future of education, I hope this conversation sparks reflection. Let's work together to ensure readiness, not just progression. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Bulelani Marwanqana, and this has been Talking Classrooms, podcasting as a tool for educational communication and reflection. Until next time, keep learning, keep reflecting, and keep building stronger classrooms, one student at a time.